All right, so we've talked about the 7 major groups of nutrients in our body and what they do for us. We've done the research, we've done the presentations, you've watched the instructional videos, and you've taken your quiz. So now we'll be focusing for the next 2 weeks on metabolism as well as the digestive system. First, I want to make an analogy that I have. When we talked about the nutrients in your body, I have a football analogy that kind of goes with it. So bear with me and think about it. Every player has a position and a job to do on a team. When someone falls down on the job, it allows for the opponents to get through and possibly win the game. So the same is for your body, because your body has an immune system, it has a digestive system, and you have vital bodily organs and functions going on. So, think about if you're not giving yourself the balance of nutrients that you need, then you're allowing those players to kind of fall down and get weakened on the job, which is allowing some opponents, which would be like illness and diseases, to get through and do possibly some serious damage. So keep that in mind when we're focusing for the next week or two on metabolism and the digestive system. Today we're going to start with talking about the effects of poor nutrition on your health. There are several conditions or opponents that could come along and do you some bodily harm. We're going to talk about obesity first. According to the National Center of Health Statistics for 2016 survey, about 71.6% of American adults are overweight or obese due to poor nutrition. So obesity is defined as having a body mass of 25 BMI or over. So considering that, that's not too high, and you can have people considered obese even though they don't have a 40 BMI or something of that nature. Being overweight puts you at some serious risks, and we're going to be talking about some of the conditions and disorders, and many of them are life-threatening. Okay, I told you Americans win the award when it comes to cancer, when it comes to diabetes, when it comes to obesity, because we are the land of plenty and we don't restrict ourselves very much when it comes to eating and indulging. And we also eat very poorly compared to, European countries where they eat more vegetables and appropriate, foods. If obesity wasn't enough, we also contend with hypertension. The National Institute of Health reported that hypertension is one of the possible outcomes of poor nutrition. Hypertension or high blood pressure is called the silent killer because it frequently goes undetected until it's too late. Usually the damage is done to the body and people don't even know, that it's happening to them, and then they have a heart attack or a stroke. Usually eating too much junk food or fried foods, salty foods, foods loaded with sugar, dairy products because they're very fatty, caffeine, and refined foods can cause hypertension. When you think of obesity and hypertension, high cholesterol and heart disease are right around the corner. Poor nutrition will lead to high cholesterol, which is a primary contributor to heart disease. High fatty diets are very common in the United States and sometimes in Canada. The National Institute of Health reports that more than 500,000 people in the United States die each year due to heart disease, which can be caused by high fatty diets. High cholesterol foods contain a large amount of saturated fat, which we've discussed, in length. The difference between unsaturated fat, which is the good kind, Saturated fat, which is usually solid at room temperature, usually comes in the form of animal products, and then there's trans fat. But saturated fat definitely is a cause of high cholesterol. So think of ice cream, eggs, cheese, butter, fatty cuts of meat, things like that. Also, instead of high fat foods, you should choose lean proteins such as chicken and turkey, breast meat, white meat, fish, because fish has omega-3, which is a good fatty component, and seafood. And avoid processed foods. They are the worst. They're loaded with trans fat. However, it's convenient, and that's what we go for, convenience. Diabetes. It's a well-known fact that diabetes is linked to poor nutrition. Some forms of this disease can result from consuming a sugary and fat-laden diet, which usually people with diabetes, have an obesity issue. According to the National Institute of Health, 15% of the American population has diabetes. When I used to do this PowerPoint a few years ago, it was 8%. So when I created this PowerPoint about 5 years ago, it was 8%, and now it's up to 15%. Scary statistics. Okay, let's talk about strokes. A stroke that is caused by plaque buildup in your blood vessels, and there's a little picture there for you to look at, then could break free as a blood clot. So you could have a blood clot break free and then travel to your brain, which causes a stroke. It is usually linked to poor nutrition because that plaque that builds up in your arteries are from high, processed foods, high fatty foods, fried foods. Strokes can damage the brain and impair, its functioning. It also leads to death. It can. So foods that are high in salt, fat, and cholesterol increase your risk of stroke. Okay, another outcome of poor nutrition could be cancer. According to the National Institute of Health, several types of cancer, including bladder cancer, colon cancer, breast cancers, may be partially caused by poor dietary habits. Look at the foods that I pictured there. We all love them. They're delicious. However, processed foods, hot dogs, bacon, top two, can definitely increase your chances of cancer. Limit your intake of those foods containing refined sugars, nitrates, and hydrogenated oils, which we covered too, including hot dogs and processed meats and bacon, donuts, French fries, anything that's fried. You really have to be careful and limit them. Moderation. So what is the bottom line here? The bottom line is avoid fast food and processed food to reduce your risks of serious health conditions. Now at your age, you're probably like, this will never, bother me, or I'll change my eating habits, once I get older. That is extremely difficult. Right now, at the age that you are in, because you are coming to the age where you are picking your own food choices. Maybe you have a game or you're working and you'll be going to college soon. You are not relying on your parents to pick the foods that you eat. So you're developing your own habits. Now is the time to make sure that they're good ones. I'm not saying, that you can't have or you shouldn't ever eat anything, that you like to indulge in once in a while. However, you really should make sure that you're getting into a habit of eating a lot of vegetables, eating a lot of fruit, eating lean cuts of meat and whole grains. If you get into the habit now, when you're developing your, future food habits, it'll be so much easier when you get older, and then you won't have to try and retrain yourself and go on all these diets and, medicines, etc. Okay, so keep that in mind. as you're picking your food choices.